Someone asked me, do I think we're raising a generation of bald women? I think the answer is yes, but I also think it's deeper than that. For those of you who don't know, my name is Maya Karen. I run a fashion blog called Classically Kept. It does feature luxury, contemporary, and how to style, and now natural hair care and hair care topics. So if you were into any of those things, please consider subscribing to my channel, click the notification bell, and then that way you will never miss a video. So I have actually been waiting to do this video. There's never going to be a right time. I know this video is going to be an uncomfortable conversation. I know this video is going to ruffle some feathers, but the reason why I want to now talk about this is because I got 2 comments within the last month on the same video, to the point where I know that when it comes to the natural hair community, I know we have our qualms, I know we have our faults, but it's getting to the point, in my opinion, that we need to move from self-acceptance to radical self-acceptance. And these 2 comments, I'm going to show you the first one, but I'm going to explain the second one because I cannot find the second one. So I'm going to read these 2 comments. I'm going to give you my thoughts, and then I'm going to actually get into where I personally think this is coming from, okay? So the very first comment is, I was just doing my niece's hair. She's 7. And she kept complaining about how curly and poofy her hair was and how she wished it was straight. It's so difficult to hear young people saying these things about themselves, but we have to radically love our natural hair and show them all the beautiful things about it so they don't view it in such a negative way. This comment bothers me. And the reason why it bothers me is because she's 7. She's 7. She's not 10, she's not 12, she's not 14, she's not 16, she's 7. And I believe you're I think you're in elementary school, and she already has a negative outlook on her hair. Now that's just the comment. We don't know what has transpired. We don't know what her community looks like. We don't know what her environment looks like. We don't know what her friend circle looks like. But comments like this are the exact reason why I started my YouTube channel. Yes, it started out as a fashion channel, and I still do fashion, or I started incorporating my natural hair care and just hair care topics into my channel, because if I could just save one little girl, my job is done. Now, the second comment, I can't find it, but basically I'm going to paraphrase. There was a woman who was talking about Thanksgiving from last year of 2024. And I believe her niece or someone at the Thanksgiving gathering was between the age of 14 and 15. And basically she overheard a conversation with this teenager talking to her mother, begging her or trying to figure out a way that they could compromise or what type of weave that she could buy. Once again, we're talking about a child. We're talking about a 14-year-old. Yes, she is a teenager, and yes, when we were all 14, 15, 16, and 17, we all thought we knew everything, right? But it just hurts my heart when I hear things like this. And this is me personally. I am not a therapist, but this is my opinion. By the time our young women reach the age of 14, 15, 16, and 17, and they are already discussing, already wearing, already begging to wear the weaves, the wigs, and extensions, it is already too late. That is one of the reasons why I am looking to have my event called Love Your Curls, because it focuses on young women. Like I said, I am not a therapist, but I am of the opinion that once you get to that age, unfortunately, the damage is already done. I will bring you 2 examples. The first one is the doll example. And basically what that was, and it was kind of the same experiment, y'all remember the Tyra Banks show, but she had one segment, or she had one show just basically talking about stereotypes, skin colors, and things like that. This experiment broke my heart. So basically, I think she took young girls anywhere, I believe from the age of like 5 to 9, and she just gave them dolls, and she laid them on the table, and she just started asking questions. Of course, the white girls picked the white dolls, but the young black girls also picked the white dolls. Now, there were black dolls there, and at that time, there was no such thing as a natural hair doll or a curly Afro textured doll. But the fact that a 5-year-old is already aware of her surroundings, is already aware of society, and I guess you could say the hierarchy, that each person has in the world is a very telling sign. If you talk to a lot of therapists, or some of the therapists that I listen to, they will tell you by the age of 4 or 5, a child's behavior and or their temperament is already set in. And when you have 5-year-olds reaching for a doll that does not look like them, and they're reaching for that doll because they think that that doll is prettier, they think that that doll is going to be more successful, we have an issue. So for the rest of this video, I just kind of want to break down where I see it coming from and how it gets passed down from generation to generation, okay? So let's start with grandma. We know that most grandmas at one point in time were either wearing their hair straight, they were pressing their hair, or they were getting relaxers. I do want to point out, and I do want to acknowledge, for a lot of our elders, whether it be a grandmother or whether it be a great grandmother, straightening your hair, having a certain appearance was a part of your livelihood. You needed to have straight hair to get a job to pay the bills. I'm fully aware of that. However, on the backside or behind that, if grandma relaxes her hair and that's all that she knows, or that's what she finds appropriate, or that's what she finds aesthetically pleasing, that means that should she have a daughter, she's going to do the exact same thing. I do also want to acknowledge the 60s and the 70s when the, Black power and Afro and things like that started to come. But you still had a majority of Black women who were choosing to straighten their hair, get their hair pressed, or they were choosing to relax their hair. So now you have this grandma. She is straightening her hair, relaxing her hair is the only thing that she knows. She now has a daughter. Because that is the only thing that she knows, that for her is the only option. So she now has a daughter, and she is going to do the same thing to her daughter. So we start this perpetual cycle. So now we have the daughter, right? She's going to do the exact same thing. As soon as she gets old enough, or as soon as she has too much hair on her head, or as soon as her hair becomes unmanageable, then she's going to get a relaxer. Okay, so that's all that she knows. But also, we need to acknowledge the message that is being sent down from generation to generation. When your child, because I did a video talking about my natural hair story, and a lot of y'all were talking about you were the same age as I was. I was 9, some of y'all were 4, some of y'all were 6, some of y'all were 5. The message that we are sending to our young daughters and our young girls when it comes to relaxing our hair, especially at a young age, is simply this: your hair, the natural hair that grows out of your head, is not good enough, it's not aesthetically pleasing, and it is not acceptable. We also need to acknowledge the fact that children pick up on a lot more than we give them credit for, okay? So we have grandma and now we have daughter. So let's turn the daughter into a mother. So she has her own child, and it so happens to be a girl. Now, of course, because that's all that she knows, that is more than likely what she is going to do to her daughter's hair, right? She's going to have the same attitude as her mother or as grandma. When it comes to child rearing, when it comes to a woman raising a young woman, especially a Black girl who is going to be wearing her hair natural or is not going to be putting any chemicals in her hair. And you guys have heard me say this before. Growing up, my mother always emphasized to me or reiterated to me that my complexion was beautiful just the way that it was, and that my hair was beautiful just the way that it was. We need to get back to that. Trust me, I understand taking care of natural hair in the very beginning can be daunting and it can be very frustrating. However, as the mother, you are the example for your young daughter. If you are always getting weaves and extensions and wearing wigs, and she never sees you in your natural state, in your natural, beautiful state, that is sending a message to her. You might not think that, but you are the first example of what your daughter thinks a woman is and what she should be. It's kind of the same thing like as you get older and you begin to realize that you are picking up the attitudes and the mannerisms of your mother. I see it myself. When I'm in Target, I just start dancing. I remember growing up, my mother has music in her head, and wherever we are, if she felt the need, she would just start dancing. I find myself doing that too, right? But I think as mothers, we need to begin to embrace our daughters, okay? We have women and we have young girls who are chasing a look, who are chasing an aesthetic that they will never be able to accomplish. And by way of that, or on the backside of that, it's detrimental to their mental health and it's detrimental to the health of their hair. I hope this video, and don't get me wrong also, because the mother is dealing with her own trauma and her own experiences, and it would be lovely to break that cycle. And I know it's easier said than done, but we have to start somewhere. The saying, I believe it's by Frederick Douglass, and I get it wrong every single time, and I'll put it right here, but it basically states it's better to raise strong men, it's better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. And I already told y'all my opinion at the beginning of this video. Now, let's bring in social media. Let's say that this daughter is being raised in social media, or she is being raised with social media. So you have a young girl who at home, her mother might be making comments about her natural hair, or whenever they sit down to do her natural hair, she's always huffing and puffing. She's always calling her hair names. It's just basically like this burden. And the little girl starts to believe that the hair that grows out of her head is not beautiful, it's not manageable, and it's not desirable, okay? So that is the first place that she gets it from. She gets it at home. I do want to, I guess you could say, add maybe a husband or add a father figure. Maybe not so much the father, and maybe much so the father. He might have these same sentiments when it comes to natural hair. He might find it unruly. He might find it not aesthetically pleasing. And we might be able to confirm this for the simple fact that he married the mother and she had relaxed hair. Now, we don't know if there was a conversation between the two of them about her hair, but I'm going to assume that because they met when she was relaxed, I think it would be an issue if she came to him one day and said, hey, listen, I'm thinking about going natural, okay? Now let's go ahead and add in a brother or a sibling. Let's just say it's a brother. The brother may also be making fun of her hair, okay? So she's at home and she's getting it from 3 different places. The next part, let's add the social media. She's on social media and she's scrolling. And the only thing that she is seeing is weaves, wigs, and extensions. And if she does see somebody with natural hair, it's going to be your looser curl patterns, right? Now, by this time, she is already relaxed, so she probably doesn't even know what her hair texture is or what her curl pattern is, but the message that is being sent to her via social media is that straight hair is best. Let's take it on the other side of social media when it comes to the bullying, when it comes to the viral moments and things like that. As I said, the young girl at this point is relaxed, but maybe she's thinking about going natural, or maybe someone brings up natural to her. She's scrolling on social media and she sees one young lady going viral because she's being bullied and being made fun of for her natural hair. No one wants to be bullied, right? No one wants to be an outcast. No one wants to be ostracized. But those videos that she's watching about those women or those young girls who are choosing to be natural, of them being bullied, might actually sway her, okay? So that's the second place that she's getting it, all right? Now, school. There are going to be boys at school. There are going to be crushes at school. There are going to be love interests, girlfriends. There are going to be friend groups and things like that. So let's say everybody in that friend group is relaxed, and she, of course, is as well. And a new girl comes and she is, let's say, every bit of 4C hair. She has very tightly textured hair. And she sees that she is getting bullied because her hair is poofy, it's big, it's textured, and it's all over the place. If that young girl is thinking about going natural, she can most certainly see that at school, she's going to be bullied. She's going to be made fun of, okay? So that is the third place. So it's at home where she's being told that her hair is not desirable. It's on social media where she sees that her hair is also not desirable, and she sees women and young girls going viral and being bullied about their natural hair. And then it's also at school. So if she is getting this message every single day of her life, day in, day out, if she's getting it from home, if she's getting it from school, and if she's getting it from social media, where is she supposed to get solace? Where is she supposed to get the confidence? Where is she supposed to get the I'm getting ready to say reiteration, but where is she supposed to get the confidence to actually wear her natural hair? In every environment that I have just named, a person who is natural has either been bullied, has been ostracized, or there have been comments made about that young girl. Mentality plays a huge role in being natural and or going natural, especially if you are, I will say, older and your thoughts about natural hair and your experiences with natural hair have been nothing but negative. It's going to take a lot of work for that woman to step outside of her comfort zone and start growing her hair out and either cut it gradually or cut it to a TWA. All I'm asking is, when it comes to our young women, where are they supposed to get the encouragement about being natural? Where are they supposed to get the reinforcement if they cannot get it at home? And I am not necessarily blaming grandma. I am not blaming mom, because they are products of their own environments. But she gets it at social media, or she gets it on social media. She gets it at school. Now we can even tack on, when she's a little bit older, dating. There are some people who do not find curly hair, textured hair, afro textured hair desirable. They do not want that in a mate, and they will not date somebody who is natural. To the point of, are we raising a generation of bald women? Yes, we are. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there was a young woman who just went viral on TikTok talking about the fact that wearing wigs made her bald. We are so focused when it comes to the wigs. I believe it's, y'all know I don't know anything about the wigs, but I do know that we have come a long way. You know, it's getting to the point where people are able to melt the lace in 3D and it looks like it's coming out of the scalp. But we are getting to the point that we are willing to pay whatever the price is to look like somebody else. I'm not talking about people who experiment. That's not what I'm referring to. If you wear a wig every now and again, that's fine. Listen, it's your business. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the women who will not leave their house without a wig of a certain texture. It's like, I believe it's yaki, or it's like that Brazilian wave or whatever it is, or it's just straight, or it's like bumped at the ends, right? We are getting to the point where we are putting our health, or the health of our hair, at risk to look a certain way, okay? We are getting to the point where we have young girls who will not leave the house and do not feel beautiful in anything but a straight wig. And one of the questions that I have, and one of the observations that I have, is these individuals, because I actually sat and watched someone install a wig, and I was amazed. I didn't know all of that went into it. The video was about 30 to 45 minutes long, but here's the thing. You will spend 30 to 45 minutes laying your lace, melting your lace to make it look like the hair is coming out of your scalp, but you won't take that same time and effort into doing and learning your own hair. There's an issue with that. And you also hear a lot of people say, well, I like to experiment. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you don't feel beautiful with just your hair, there's something deeper than that, whether the individual wants to admit it or not. Also, we have to look at celebrities. We have to look at Hollywood. We have to look at celebrity culture when we're talking about singers, when we're talking about rappers, when we're talking about artists, when we're talking about actresses, we typically see the same type of people who are casted in these roles. When you open a magazine, what do you see? When you turn on the TV, what do you see? When you hop on Instagram, what do you see? You see these glorious and these beautiful campaigns, whether it be Revlon, whether it be CoverGirl, whether it be Gucci, whether it be Chanel. You see a certain aesthetic, and a lot of times Afro textured hair is not included in that. Now, you do have some companies who are beginning to incorporate that. I know for a couple of years now, Dior does actually have a model who has dreads, and she is gorgeous, but that is not the norm. A lot of designers will not feature hair like that. A lot of marketing companies don't see value in it. So I understand where the message is coming from, and I understand how hard it can be to get away from it. I hope this video was not all over the place, but when we start talking about natural hair in young girls, y'all know that is the hill that I will die on, okay? Let's start a conversation in the comments. And I know that there are many factors, but this was just a basic or 3 basic examples of where I think it's coming from. I know there are many factors. Let's start a conversation in the comments. What I love about my community is that we can disagree, but we keep it respectful. I just want to remind you, here on YouTube, I do upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And of course, right here or right here, I'll put my Instagram handle. Thank you so much for you guys for listening. Bye.
We always have it coming.